Buenos dias. Good morning. I think this is the first time that I've had to ring the bowl twice to get your attention. And I think that speaks to the fact that you are so glad to be here and to be together. So I definitely welcome that. Buenos días de nuevo. Good morning again. Soy la reverenda Claudia Jiménez, la ministra de Desarrollo de Fe. I am Reverend Claudia Jiménez. I serve this congregation as minister of faith formation. Queremos que sepan, we want you to know, en la línea red o aquí en el santuario, on-site or online, quien quiera que seas, whoever you are, de donde quiera que vengas, wherever you come from, a quien quiera que ames, whoever you love, estés donde estés en el viaje de explorar quién eres, wherever you are on the journey of exploring who you are, eres valiosa y digne de amor. You are valuable and worthy of love. Eres bienvenida aquí. You are welcome here. And this morning, I am joined by members of the Reproductive Justice team. We have Lexi, Kelly, and Joanna. And we are inviting you to reflect on reproductive freedom and our personal reproductive stories. And usually I offer a more political sermon, if you will, around reproductive freedom and what reproductive justice means, that it isn't just abortion access, but it's also the ability to decide when to or not have children and to bring children into a world that welcomes them, that is safe and accessible to them. So today we're going to do that reflection through ritual. And so I am grateful for our team, and I am also grateful for our worship associate, Laurel Jernigan, Laurel Jernigan and Annabelle, who is going to be our chalice lighter. We are excited to have Chris Rosser as our guest musician. We have Dr. Les at the piano, and we have Simon Jacobs doing AV. All that to remind us that we do this in community. We do not do ministry alone. It takes each of us to be a part of the whole, and your being here is an important part of that. This place is made sacred by your presence, and that is when it comes alive. So let us preparémonos esta mañana for worship with the gift of our centering music.
Good morning, everyone. How you doing? When the light is gone and you're on your own, you've been trying, but the fight never goes away. And you don't know when the sun will shine again. All you gotta do is look my way. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. If you're standing at the bottom, I'll reach out for you. If you need someone to lean on, baby, I can be strong. I can carry you through. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. Everybody needs something to believe. If you want, you can always put your faith in me. I don't know it all, but I know how it feels to fall. With a helping hand, you'll find your feet. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. If you're standing at the bottom, I'll reach out for you. You need someone to lean on, baby, I can be strong. I can carry you through. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. If you're lonely, if you're down and out, holding out for a better day, call out for me and I'll come running, and we'll find a better way. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. If you're standing at the bottom, I'll reach out for you. If you need someone to lean on, baby, I can be strong. I can carry you through. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. If you got a problem, I got a problem too.
Every Sunday, we light the chalice as a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. It signifies the sacredness and power of this gathered community. Our chalice lighting words this morning are by Reverend Orlando Brugnola. Flame, friend of our most ancient ancestors, we kindle you now in this time, yet in truth you burn always. In the unique worth of each person, in the imagination, in the turning of the heart to sorrow or joy, in the call to hope and in the call to justice. Burn bright before us, burn bright within us. If you would, rise as you're willing or able for the singing of our hymn number 347, Gather the Spirit.
So this morning, I have a story from a book that is called Latinitas, celebrating 40 big dreamers. So before I share my story, I just want to ask, do any of you have any dreams, anything that you think about that you'd like to do when you're older or anything like that? Any dreams that you might want to share? I'd like to become an author. So we have a future writer who has actually read some of her poems here for us. Any others? Annabelle. Annabelle wants to be a zoologist. Anything else? A baker. A zoologist, a baker, an author. Any other dreams that we have?
No, I don't have any more.
Okay.
I don't.
That's all right.
I would like to be a fashion designer and a singer.
A fashion designer and a singer. Yes.
A doctor.
A doctor and
Astronaut.
an astronaut.
A mermaid, a cat, and a fairy.
A mermaid, a cat, and a fairy. Okay, so we have a lot of dreams in the house. And I'm sure that there are some dreams. Let us make sure that we actually can be heard. I'm sure that we have some dreams that are still in the process of becoming. But today, where is my doctor to be? Today, I'm actually sharing a story about a woman who, as a young girl, wanted to be a doctor. And her name is Matilde Hidalgo. And she was born about 140 years ago in Ecuador. Does anybody know what language they speak in Ecuador? Español. It's south of Colombia, where I'm from. So Matilde, as a child, wanted to be a doctor. But when she was a kid, guess up to what grade girls were allowed to go to school? Any guesses? You can go to school until what grade? You didn't. You did, but you didn't get to go all the way through high school. So what grade do you think? 12th grade?
I think it was 6.
Oh my goodness, did you read the story? Yes, 6th grade. She could only go to school until she was in 6th grade, but she really wanted to go to high school. Her mother was very supportive, and she ended up going to high school because she did have that dream of wanting to be a doctor. So she went to high school. She was the first girl in her community to graduate from high school. But that wasn't enough for her. She wanted to go to college. But when it was time to go to college, the first university in Ecuador that she applied to did not accept her. And do you know why? Because she was a girl, because she was a woman. And so she tried another university, and luckily she did get the opportunity to register, get her bachelor's degree, and then she went on and she got a doctorate in medicine, and she became the first woman doctor in Ecuador. But that wasn't enough. She also wanted to vote. But at the time, women were not allowed to vote. So for the election in 1924 in Ecuador, she registered to vote and was told that because she was a woman, she could not vote. And she didn't accept that as an answer because she was very intelligent, and she read the Constitution, and so she said, in the Constitution of Ecuador, nowhere does it say that your gender being a particular gender is a requirement. It was your citizenship, your age, and of course they had a literacy test, which she would have passed. And so she was persistent, and this went to the courts. And the courts finally decided that women could vote. She didn't get to vote in 1924, but in 1929, 9 years after women were allowed to vote here in the United States, women in Ecuador were given the right to vote. And so she was an activist, she was a physician, and she also realized that she had a lot to contribute to her community, so she ran for office. And she became the first woman council member in her community. So she had a dream, and she never gave up on her dream, no matter what the barriers were and what the challenges were. And when we look at her story, we realize that society can change, that there is room if we are persistent to make change. So I hope that this story reminds all of our dreamers of all ages that with persistence, and I would say with support, because she was supported by her mother and she was supported by members of her community, she was able to move forward. So that is our story this morning about Matilde Hidalgo, and I hope that you continue pursuing your dreams. And now we're going to sing you out to your classes today. And if you are visiting, your parents may go with you to Sandberg Hall so that you know who your child's facilitator is going to be and where you can pick them up. So let us, as a community, rise in body our spirit and sing our children to their classes. One of the things I love about this congregation is the commitment that we have to our children and youth. And when our programs launch, as they did last week, we watch how this sanctuary empties out because there is faith formation that continues. And it's because of committed adults that faith formation can happen. And all of the parents that bring their children on Sunday morning. So that is always such a joy. Anyway, because we're a caring congregation and a joyful congregation, we take time in the middle of our service for reflection or prayer or meditation, as is your custom. So this morning, I offer us a prayer that was written by Laura Horton Ludwig that will be followed by a moment of silence, and then we will engage in our ritual of stones and waters. So I invite you to just take a moment to feel the floor underneath your feet, to close your eyes or lower your gaze, and just take a moment to breathe into the silence. Our breath is always with us. We can always come back to the breath, our anchor, our grounding, our freedom. Spirit of love and life, we are here not just minds and hearts, but bodies too. We human beings, spirit and body joined together. On this day, we send out a prayer or a wish that every person, every being may be safe and well in body and in spirit. May every person be well, and may we treat every person with respect, kindness, and love. On this day, when we consider the connections between our bodies and our spirits, we lift up our hope and aspiration that all people will live in freedom to give and guard their bodies as seems best to them, and to exercise their own powers of moral discernment around their fertility and creative potential. May we remember that this is especially challenging for those who are living in poverty to exercise these rights, and may our society support them in every way possible. We say a special prayer for all those who have experienced violence or abuse or any other form of damage to their being, which is so precious. May they know safety and healing. For all of us, may our physical being be a source of delight and well-being as we live in this world. May every being be safe and well in body and in spirit. May every person be well, and may we be vessels of compassion for everyone we meet. May it be so, que así sea, and now let us share a moment of silence. And now is the time in our service where we acknowledge the joys and the sorrows in our midst with the ritual of water. For all that grieves our hearts, we add salt to brine the water. And for all that brings our hearts joy or celebration, we scatter flower petals to symbolize happiness or contentment. And in the knowledge that it is that dance of joy and sorrow that makes our lives, let us begin our ritual. And you may come forward and add a stone or more than one for any joy or sorrow that is in your heart this morning. Let us begin our ritual. If you have shared a stone for a joy that is in your heart this morning, know that this gathered community and our community online holds you in that joy. And if you have shared a stone for a sorrow, know that this community holds you in love and care. And we will add a final stone for any joys that remain in our community, and a final stone for any sorrows that are still held. Even when we are apart, we are one, and we are a strong community. Thank you, and thank you, Annabelle.
Good morning. I'm Susan Foster, and give me a minute because I'm going to have to pull up a step stool to reach the microphone. So some of you may know me as a longtime UU and a member of this congregation. I'm on the board of this congregation's chapter of the Blue Ridge Spirit Cups, which stands for Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans. I'm also on the National Board of Cups. Much of Cups' spiritual orientation is based on the seventh principle: respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. We practice an earth-based spirituality that honors the earth and all its creatures. We find the source of our spirituality in nature and work to promote and protect the health of the earth and the environment for current and future generations. So over the years, National Cups has created 7 statements of resolutions related to justice. And these have been to eradicate racism and white supremacy, and to promote religious freedom, environmental justice, Black Lives Matter, consent culture, and solidarity with Standing Rock. So when I joined the CUPS board, it seemed to me that there was one important resolution that was missing. One that pertained to reproductive justice, because that's really up for all of us right now, women and men. So I wrote the following resolution on reproductive justice and violence against women. And it was formulated before Article 2 passed, so much of it is based on the 7 principles. And I'd like to share it with you today. So here's how it goes. The CUPS resolution on reproductive justice and violence against women. Whereas the reproductive rights of women and other birthing persons have been violated by the 2022 ruling of Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health, which overturned Roe v. Wade, and unjust restrictions on reproductive care have been implemented in many states as a result. Whereas violence against women is a serious problem, with 1 out of every 3 women experiencing physical or sexual violence by men, both globally and domestically. Therefore, be it resolved that the Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans stands with colleagues, members, and friends committed to restoring reproductive rights to female and all female-bodied persons. We decry the Dobbs decision by the Supreme Court and support the right of any pregnant person to make decisions regarding their own reproductive health. We advocate for women's rights to bodily autonomy and choice about abortion. The stripping of such rights violates the principles of the UUA, especially the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, and the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process in society at large. Depriving women of choice has already caused suffering for them and their families and must be addressed with compassion, not punishment. Returning choice about reproductive care to women and their doctors, not primarily male judges, affirms the right of conscience in making decisions about reproductive care. And the democratic process in society will be enhanced by allowing ballot initiatives on abortion rights by voters. Be it further resolved that CUPS is committed to preventing violence against women, which is frequently rooted in religious orthodoxy that calls for women to be subordinate to men, even at the risk to their own health and bodily integrity. CUPS affirms the religious and spiritual teachings which call for the equality of men and women, free from traditional gender norms and relationships rooted in patriarchal structures. CUPS, guided by the first UU principle, which states that every person has inherent worth and dignity, calls for all women to be free of gender-related violence. CUPS supports activism, which creates comprehensive responses to domestic violence, sexual assault, dating violence, and stalking. This resolution was adopted in August of 2023, and I hope it can serve as a model for resolutions of many other organizations as well. Thank you so much.
So Reverend Claudia asked me to play this song specifically for today. This is it's a family history song that I wrote some years back about my grandmother's older sister back in Texas in the early 20s, or early part of the century. Anna has a secret, 3 months old. Not even the boy or her family know. Singing in church, dressed in blue, just 17, wondering what to do. Anna is sitting at the kitchen table with her face in her hands and shoulders shaking. Her mom is quiet, her father wrings his hands. Her 12-year-old sister doesn't understand. Small town Texas, 1923. Her reputation is hard to keep. Folks smile and whisper on Sunday and count the months between a baby and a wedding day. Anna has a secret. Anna has a secret. Anna has a secret. Anna's mother knows a doctor one town over, takes care of this kind of thing. Someone told her, so call him up on the phone, but lower your voice and speak in code. Anna and her father driving home. She feels every bump on the county road, staring out the window, tugging on her thumb. Call the boy at the mill and say it's done, it's done. Small town Texas, 1923. A reputation is hard to keep. Folks smile and whisper on Sunday and count the months between a baby and a wedding day. Anna has a secret. 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 Now Anna has a secret. 60 years old, never even told her children when they were grown. She cries to her sister on the telephone. She's the only other living one who knows that Anna has a secret. Anna has a secret. Anna has a secret. Anna has a secret. Anna has a secret.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing that story. And I just invite us to take a few deep breaths together. Let's just breathe for a moment. Secrets around sexuality can crush our souls. Stories that remain unspoken haunt us throughout our lives. And telling our stories can be liberating for ourselves and others, but sometimes we can't. Sometimes it is difficult to tell those stories. And Anna is not alone. All these years later, 1 in 4 women in America will have an abortion by the time they are 45. And when we talk about this topic, I think it's important to remember that when we talk about reproductive justice, we're not just talking about abortion health care. The Sister Song Collective, many years ago, founded an organization that really helped build the reproductive justice movement. And they talked about reproductive justice in the following way. It is the human right to maintain personal bodily autonomy, to have children, not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. That is reproductive justice. And for each of us, from the moment that we were born, we were part of somebody's reproductive journey and began a journey of being a sexual being and a reproductive journey of our own, whatever choices we make. And so usually when I offer a reproductive justice Sunday service, I tend to deliver a sermon and talk about the importance of our values and the importance of voting and making sure that we elect individuals that honor the dignity and honor the freedom of women and birthing people. But today our service is going to be a little different. Today we are going to engage in a ritual. And our reproductive justice team and I are inviting all of us to hold space for each of our stories. Our ritual is adapted from the work of Reverend Julia Hamilton. And we remind you that as we engage in this ritual, there may be stories from your life that surface in unexpected ways. And one of the things that we do in community is create a container so that we can make time to lament and to grieve together. And so this is that container this morning, whatever your reproductive justice story has been. And I invite you, if you need any support after the service today, I will be available here in the sanctuary. And we have a few of our pastoral team here. We have Jill Pryor, we have Iris Harden, and I think Myrtle. Yes, can you raise your hands so people can know who you are? Okay, because this ritual is a ritual of holding each other and allowing this space to hold stories that sometimes we don't share and remain untold for so many reasons. So what we will do is we will light a series of candles for the different paths that we may have taken. Each will be followed by a prayer. And if you recognize yourself in one of these prayers, we invite you to put your hand over your heart and know that you are not alone. There is someone else in this gathered community or online holding their hand over their heart too. And after each prayer, there will be a responsive reading which will be projected on the screen. Let us begin our ritual.
I light the first candle for those whose stories include the decision to end a pregnancy. The circumstances vary. The timelines of our lives are diverse, but each and every end is also a beginning. And so I light this candle for all who have aborted a pregnancy or partnered someone in an abortion for whatever reason. Under whatever circumstances.
May the beginnings and endings in our stories be held in unconditional love and acceptance.
Light the second candle for those whose story includes the unwanted loss of a pregnancy or a struggle with fertility. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but the pain of infertility, miscarriage, and stillbirth are too often held in silence. And so I light this candle for all who have traveled this path of loss, for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance.
May the beginnings and endings in our stories be held in unconditional love and acceptance.
I light the third candle for those whose story include the decision to give birth. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, and the decision to bring a new life into the world is a powerful one. And so I light this candle for all who have given birth or partnered in the birth of a child, or those who have adopted a child birthed by someone else, for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance.
May the beginnings and endings in our stories be held in unconditional love and acceptance.
I light the fourth candle for those whose stories includes the decision not to conceive or have children. The circumstances vary. The timelines of our lives are diverse, but the freedom to chart the course of our own reproductive life is sacred. I light this candle for all who have made the decision not to conceive or bear children, for whatever reason, under whatever circumstances.
May the beginnings and endings in our stories be held in unconditional love and acceptance.
I light the fifth candle for those whose story includes a forced choice, or no choice at all, or who have encountered violence when there should have been tenderness and care. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but not everyone has been in the position to control their own reproductive choices. I light this candle for all who have found themselves unable to exercise their own sacred reproductive freedom, for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance.
May the beginnings and endings in our life stories be held in unconditional love and acceptance.
I light the sixth and final candle for those whose reproductive story is still being written. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but the future unfolds in surprising and unexpected ways that can be both beautiful and heartbreaking. And so I light this candle for all who are at the threshold, who have agency and decisions still to make about their reproductive lives, for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance.
May the beginnings and endings in our stories be held in unconditional love and acceptance. May the flames of these candles and the many stories they represent remind us of the fire of commitment we carry inside to ensure that all people have freedom and agency over their reproductive decisions, and that reproductive justice is upheld as a fundamental right for this and future generations. And we are grateful to be in a community where we can create this container to hold space for our stories. And yes, for the sadness and the tears and the anger and the frustration that they may bring to the surface, because that is what humaning is about, and we are blessed to be able to human in community, and for that we are deeply grateful. And now let us sing together. When our heart is in a holy place, hymn number 1008, please rise in body or spirit.
This is the time in our service when we like to welcome and invite our visitors. If you are willing or able to stand up and share your name and where you're from. We're so glad you're here. If you're visiting for the first time or even for more than the first time, we'd love to hear about it. We have ushers who can pass around microphones so that we can hear from you. And here's our first one.
Hi, I'm Bill Hansen, and I'm visiting for the second week in a row. My wife and I moved from Chicago 3 years ago, and just kind of seeing how things go here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
I'm not exactly new here, but I'm pleased and honored and full of joy to have my cousin Jimmy and my cousin's wife, Mary Louise, who are from Albemarle, come visit us for the weekend. Please greet them when you see them in coffee hour. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi. I don't think I've ever spoken into a mic before. I'm Kelly. I live here. I've been here for 12 years, but this is my first time at the UU, so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
My name is Pam Rosecrans, and this is my partner, Jordan Hicks. And we've lived in the neighborhood for about a year, so we decided to wander over and check you guys out. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, we look forward to visiting with you guys after the service is over in Sandberg Hall. We're so glad you're here. And I also want to point out, is Trevor in here? Oh, there. This is Trevor, our Community Connections Coordinator. So feel free to find him right after, and he can fill you in on all things UU Asheville. And we're so happy to have you all here. I want to remind everyone that our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service, but are also in the Thursday e-newsletter. If you don't get that, you can sign up online, or Trevor can tell you how to get connected with that. It's got tons of information every week. Specifically, if there are things that you need to have links for or more information. But I do have a couple of special announcements that I want to draw your attention to. The first is a congregational read that's happening right now. I think we're going to have a slide with that information on it. And the book is How We Ended Racism. And there are some copies available if you're interested in participating for loan in the library. And Reverends Claudia and Audette are going to be doing a series on this starting in October on the third Wednesdays. So tune into that. Let us know if you would like to borrow one of the copies, and more information will be coming out in the e-newsletter for that, but we wanted to make you aware of that. Also, we have a Pride Plus announcement to invite you to come be a powerful witness on Saturday, September 21st at the annual Blue Ridge Pride Festival. We're gathering at 10 in the Summit parking lot at 16 South French Broad. I assume all those details were in the newsletter. You don't need to write that down. There'll be a processional, and then if you want, I think one of the volunteers are out here tabling afterwards if you want to just get all that information from them. So hopefully we'll have a really big group for that. Come out on the 21st to support that. This month, our community plate recipient is the Poor People's Campaign, super important, and we do split evenly all cash donations that come into today's offering with them. If you're donating by check or online and want your donation to go to the community plate, you need to designate that on your check or on the online donation. The work and ministries of this congregation are entirely supported by the generosity of our members and friends. We celebrate your generosity each Sunday with music and thanks. You make us possible, and we give thanks for you. The offering will now be gratefully collected.
And I'm going to do a song that has a part for all of you. Hooray! I'm going to do a song that has a part for all of you. Hooray! Okay, that's what I thought. It'll be obvious. I found a house to call my own, another soul to call my home. I was drifting through when I found you. Love heals all wounds. Love heals all wounds. Love heals all wounds. Love heals. Love heals. Love heals all wounds. That was your part. Let's try it together. Love heals all wounds. Love heals all wounds. Love heals. Love heals. Love heals all wounds. I took some here and I gave some there. I didn't know that it was everywhere. On a sea of blue, it came shining through. Love heals all wounds. Love heals all found some hope, but I lost my faith. I held on tight, but it slipped away. I felt brand new when I came to. Love heals all wounds. Love heals all wounds. Love heals all wounds. Love heals. Love heals. Love heals all wounds. Nice.
For the gifts of your presence, time, wisdom, and resources, we are grateful.
This is a Tim O'Brien song. When you pray, move your feet, bringing love to the people you meet. Get out of your chair, walk the streets. When you pray, move your feet. Feels like lightning in your hands when you reach out to help a fellow man. Stronger and stronger the more you do. Each and every time you follow through. When you pray, move your feet, bringing love to the people you meet. Get out of your chair, walk the streets. When you pray, move your feet. I tell my love for everything I know. I bring her with me wherever I go. It's understood we're hand in hand. Means much more when we take a stand. True love travels from heart to heart. It's always there when you're ready to start. Up along a steep and winding road, love's gonna help you lift that load. When you pray, move your feet. That's your part. Bring his love to the people you meet. Get out of your chair, walk the streets. When you pray, move your feet. When a hard wind blows and the cloud rains down, move your feet, make a joyful sound. The Lord is listening and watching too. Keeps you safe and will push you through. John Lewis is gone, his words ring on and on and on. Clap your hands, help me sing his song. Move your feet, 'cause he can't stop till we reach that mountain top. When you pray, move your feet. Bring his love to the people you meet. Get out of your chair, walk the streets. When you pray, move your feet. When you pray, move your feet. Nice.
As always, Chris, thank you so much for the gift of your music. And to our elder Bernice, thank you for calling us to get up and move our feet. And so, beloveds, we have had a moment today in worship. Thank you all for being here. And as you leave and look forward to this week, remember that when you pray, you move your feet, and that all of these feet together can make a big difference. So let us go in love and in possibility, knowing that love and goodness will and do prevail. Let us now bless each other as we prepare to leave. You may rise in body or spirit. Look around the room. Bless those here with you as we sing Long Time Son. May the long-time sun shine upon you and all love surround you. May the pure light within you guide your way home. May the long-time sun shine upon you and all love surround you. May the pure light within you guide your way home. And as you go forward to Stanberg Hall, we have snacks that were brought in by our reproductive justice team. And I will remain here after worship for any conversation. Go in peace and enjoy this beautiful day.